Turning Point never fails to provide content. It is a beautiful time to be a content creator, especially someone like me that loves to yap about stuff. And you look no further than Turning Point. All you got to do is wait about a day, maybe half a day, and something will come out that will break the internet from what these folks have been saying or what they have said, whatever. And Blake Neff is next up on the list. He on an interview, or my fault, not an interview, on the Charlie Kirk show, without Charlie Kirk on the show, said that Erika said, so between the two, but basically Erika said this. She said if Charlie had the options between coming back to life and raising his kids or staying dead, which one would he choose? And Erika, according to Blake Neff, said he would choose death. He would choose to stay dead. And it has the internet going absolutely crazy. So we're going to listen to that, throw my opinions out there on that stuff. This may be a little uncomfortable conversation for some of you, especially when it comes to the faith. A lot of people get uncomfortable when it talks about, when the faith conversation comes about. We're gonna touch some of that today. But make sure you guys hit the like button. If you're new, subscribe to the channel. If you're new, I appreciate all you guys' support. I seen some of y'all comments saying, I saw an ad. Hold on now. I don't see them myself, but I am glad that we coming up in the world. I couldn't do it at all without y'all support. So I definitely appreciate everybody. I really do. And you see what's going on? We got a video going on broad day in the middle of the day. So we getting somewhere. We getting somewhere. My son is actually asleep right now. That's why I can do it. But let's jump straight to it. So Blake Neff has the internet going crazy over what he said that basically what he's referring to is Erika. What Erika said, and he decided to share with the world. Yesterday was Charlie's 6-month anniversary of passing. Obviously, it's been a crazy 6 months since. People have been being exposed for not being who they say they were to him and all types of stuff. Y'all know the whole shebang. And Turning Point specifically has been in the eyes and the spotlight for everybody because they have been the most shadiest people since he's passed. So let's take it away. Blake Neff. I said Neff. Let's just take it away. Let's just go ahead and pull up what Blake Neff said, and we'll go from there.
Blake, any thoughts? It's Erika said that if Charlie was given the choice to undo what happened and come back, he wouldn't. She thought because of what was unleashed by it. Blake,
let's play one more time.
It's Erika said that if Charlie was given the choice to undo what happened and come back, he wouldn't. She thought because of what was unleashed by it.
Now, before I throw out my opinion on Blake saying that, I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised in the slightest. I wasn't thinking that Blake was lying because we heard this out of Erika's mouth on her Fox interview with Jesse Waters. She said the same thing. So I really wasn't surprised. I wasn't thinking, oh, Blake Neff's lying. Where did this come from? Erika said this herself, and we can play that back and watch it right here.
Would Charlie have forgiven his killer?
He's in heaven. And he sees everything full picture. And I truly believe that if the Lord, which this does not happen, but if the Lord gave him an option to return back to earth, and if the Lord said, this is what your death is going to be the catalyst for, do you want to go back and exchange it? He'd say no. Wow. He'd say no.
Wow. He'd say no. Bro, this girl's so performative, bro. I already told y'all, we already have a full episode or a video about her repeating herself and making her voice do that and then going back to normal. That's performative. We've already studied that part of it. But yeah, so apparently Erika says or thinks that Charlie would not want to come back. He would choose to stay dead because of how the entire world moved after his death and the revival and all of that other stuff. And my opinion, before we kind of dive into how I think Charlie feels about it, nobody can honestly say the facts, but with what we know and what's provided, we can kind of analyze what we may have think, or what we think Charlie may have his perspective on that, hypothetically speaking. But from a father perspective, I'm sorry, I got my retainers in, so you're gonna hear a little lisp. From a father's perspective, I care about my children way more than random people going back to church. This is again, getting a little deep. Some people may be uncomfortable. That's okay. Again, y'all know me. This is a safe space. So I'm open to all different conversations and all of that stuff. But as a father, my children, family, that's priority. Number one priority. There's nothing in me that could even come to terms and say that if I was Charlie, I would want to stay dead just because of how many random people are returning to church, reading the Bible again, coming to Christ, however you want to say it. There's no way that I would choose that over my kids that don't have me anymore. And this is when it gets very tough because, there are a lot of religious people. There are a lot of people that are, in my opinion, I'm a Christian, right? But I do believe that there are people under religious psychosis. So everything is blind faith. They don't have any type of discernment. They allow people like Miss Shalami to say stuff like this, and their first reaction or first thought process is, well, Charlie is next to Jesus. So, what's better than that? Why would you want to come back to this evil world? And this is when it gets tough, because some people that are in this, for a lack of better words, religious psychosis, where they just are in this trance, maybe. But I know a lot of people that would just say, I can't wait to die. I can't wait until I'm gone so I can be with Jesus. And to me, whoever that person is that thinks like that is being manipulated by someone that they're learning from, whether it's a pastor of theirs, a friend of theirs. And typically, in my opinion, these are people that are very young in their faith, because you're on this earth for a reason. God put you here for a reason. That's not to say you wouldn't be happy to meet your maker at the end of it all, but that's God's will. Right now, your will and purpose is to be on this earth and fulfilling whatever that needs to be fulfilled. So people have the perspective of like, oh, Charlie is with Jesus, so why would he want to return to earth? Oh, it's so perfect up there. But I'm like, bro, as a father, again, if I'm Charlie, yes, I would love to return to walk my daughter down the aisle one day. I don't want to see my daughter in tears for the rest of her life because she has to be reminded of how I'm not there for her. Prom, middle school dances, prom, altar, when she's walking down to the altar for a wedding. All of these different things where our children need their fathers in their life. She's going to be reminded that Charlie's not there. Yes, she's young right now, but again, they grow up and it hurts. The father not being in children's lives, or any parent, it does impact them in some way, in some shape or form. So his son, I'm sure Charlie would rather want to play catch with his son one day, shoot hoops with his son one day. chop it up with his son one day, have a boys' night out one day. I'm sure he would have preferred that. So I think it's very manipulative for Erika to come on the screen and tell everybody that this is what Charlie wanted. Now, he does have messages out with Candace saying he feels like he's going to die early. So he did put that out there for a lot of people. But, I think it's a tricky subject. I just think from a father's perspective, I don't think Charlie would prefer to stay dead just because so many random people are now returning to Christ because of him. I'm sure in theory, it sounds great. But again, his children won't have him anymore forever. Forever. I just don't think nothing compares to that. Nothing. And you cannot compare it to he's with Jesus versus kids. It don't work like that. I think if Charlie had the choice, in my opinion, he would want to return to see his kids again, to see his daughter and son grow up, to be there for those important moments in their lives, which dang near every year of their lives are important. That's my opinion from a father's perspective. I would want to come back and be with my son as long as I could. There's no way I would say I'm completely fine being dead because Suzanne from Iowa is going back to church because of me. Billy Joe opened the Bible for the first time because of my death. That's great. Don't get me wrong. But my kid is more important right now. So that's my opinion on what from a father's perspective, how I would feel. And I think it's very manipulative and sad to see Erika push this around. And this is not the first time. She said this before in the office space with the employees on the leaked Zoom calls. She said, Charlie is so happy in heaven. He's dancing in heaven at how much work y'all have, how much work we have. When you say stuff like that, you confuse a lot of people that are young in their faith. They're like, oh, is that really what he's thinking? Is Charlie really? No, Charlie is not even remotely close to thinking about his employees working more hours while he's dead. No, not at all. And it's two things can be true. He can be happy to be with his maker, but he also could be very devastated to see that he left the earth in this way and that his children have to grow up without a father. Both things can be true. But I don't think if it was a situation where he had to choose, I don't think he'd say, no, I'd rather stay dead. I'd rather stay dead. No, I don't want to come back. I disagree with that. And I also would like to share, if I can, really fast without wasting anybody's time on this beautiful Wednesday, is Charlie's priority list. Let me see if I can find it real quick. He had a priority list that Erika read on Glenn Beck's podcast. And I see the picture right here, but I'd rather play the video just so anybody that thinks, I'm not making something up. But he wrote down his priorities list, and his kids were number one. His kids were like number one and number 3, I think, in the same list. So when you see stuff like that, it's hard to sit back and say he wouldn't come back. Okay. Let me share it really quick.
we operate like the Lord puts it in.
Let me see if I can find the list. It's close by.
Papers everywhere. This says it's the priorities. It says
Yep.
family, children, legacy, kids number
Here we go, right here. Perfect.
one. It's the priority.
So this is what Charlie, his perspective on life, his priorities versus, I think, things that he doesn't want to fall victim to. But listen closely to what Charlie's priorities are or were.
Priorities. It says family, papers everywhere. This says it's the priorities. It says family, children, legacy, kids number one, versus careerism, consumerism, and loneliness. That's interesting. I don't know. I could spend.
You heard it out her own mouth, right? And then I can also share a picture just in case someone doesn't want to, if you wanted to get those, that list all over again. Priorities, family, children, legacy, kids number one. His children are in the list of priorities twice. And he made sure he put emphasis on number one. Kids are his number one priority. Now, tough conversation to have, but as a Christian, right? Everybody knows the, kind of like the lineup, what's important, priorities, whatever you want to call it. But the way it's supposed to be is God is obviously your number one, right? Then you have your spouse, number two, then your kids. That is supposed to be the correct order. His number one is, I believe, children was first. If I'm not mistaken. Let me just play it back one more time just to make sure I'm not wrong.
Versus children everywhere. This says it's the priorities. It says family, children, legacy, kids number one.
Yeah, so family was first. So this picture is right. Family, children, legacy, kids number one. Now, in my opinion, for him to specifically label the kids as number one at the very bottom right here is very telling. Family could just be a general idea, right? Just keep the family together. But I think for him to put children and then at the very bottom put kids number one, he's specifying that the kids are his first priority. And why did he specify his kids, but he didn't specify Erika? That's what's very interesting and telling to me. Because family is a very general thing. Keeping the whole family together. Whatever job, whatever different opportunities he decides to take, just make sure it doesn't break up the family. Then let's go over here to the somewhat cons: careerism, consumerism, and loneliness. Again, in my opinion, I just think someone who money does not make you happy. However, if I want to put it all together and I got money, he got the career he wants. He has the money, right? He's making six figures. He has his wife. He has his two kids, right? Beautiful family from the surface level, from the outside looking in. I wouldn't even think loneliness would be an option, right? You always have your wife. But for some reason, he felt like he was all alone in certain situations. For some reason, he was fearful of being alone. So this list, in my opinion, when I see this, if Charlie were to get the option to either stay dead or come back, I would think he would choose to come back. I think he would choose to come back because of his kids. That is my opinion on that whole thing. And I think, again, it's very manipulative for Erika to say this in this weird, crazy way that Charlie is so happy to be with his maker. He's so happy that his employees have extra work to do. He's looking down from heaven, dancing because of how many hat sales they got. When you say stuff like that, again, you confuse your young Christians. You confuse the ones that are young in their faith or immature in their faith, because I just don't think it's true. Then it also makes you think, okay, so if it's not true and you know that, why are you leading people to think otherwise? It's just it's a tough conversation. I don't know. I've never liked it. I don't like how Erika uses Christianity in that type of way. I don't like how she, in my opinion, weaponizes it for her grief, to not be questioned about anything involving Charlie Kirk's death, even though anything that happens to a spouse, mysteriously, the other spouse is questioned first, just to rule them out. But for some reason, she's grieving. It's not holy. It's not the Christian thing to do to question a widow. As a Christian, you're supposed to protect widows. No, if the widow was guilty of something, she's guilty of something. It has nothing to do with Christianity. So I don't like when that is used against a lot of people. Then this whole thing of using Charlie as a shield. She also uses Charlie as a god in certain situations. Charlie is in you. She said that on the Zoom call with all the employees. Then she said that on the podcast of the Charlie Kirk Show. And she said that to Blake Neff and Andrew Covett and whoever else was there. She said, Charlie is in all of you. No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. Don't say that. Charlie was just a human, right? Unless everyone here is idolizing Charlie in some other crazy light, but that's not biblical. It's not biblical to tell all your employees that Charlie is watching you. Charlie's so proud of you. Charlie's in you. Charlie's this, Charlie's that. That's not biblical. So when you say all of these things that aren't biblical, you start to lose your credibility when it comes to Christianity and when it comes to anything with faith. So that leads me to think or believe that when Erika is saying, nah, Charlie, he's in heaven so happy and excited he wouldn't come back, I don't believe you. I don't believe you, because you have said weird and crazy things all the time. All the time. So it's I can go down a rabbit hole with that. It's crazy. The last thing I wanted to share is something that was also kind of disturbing. And it was one of Charlie's donors, I think the second highest paying donor, revealed that or revealed his reasons on why he stopped donating to Charlie and Turning Point USA. And I think it's very telling. I think it should be looked at, and it should be taken serious by the feds, by the FBI, on why all of these other donors that didn't come out like this guy, like props to him for coming out and admitting it, but why these other donors felt the same way to the point where they had to send out text messages threatening Charlie. Those donors should be questioned. But let's listen to what this donor had to say on why he stopped supporting Charlie Kirk.
Dr. Bob, let me ask you about Turning Point. You were the largest donor, the biggest supporter of Charlie Kirk, of Turning Point, and then you stopped. Why did you stop?
Okay, just a little history. I think I met Charlie. It was probably at a David Horowitz Freedom Center conference called Restoration Weekend. And David was very, very open, always generous with introducing new talent to his audience. And I was very impressed with Charlie. And I became a donor, probably not his first donor. I forget the name of the fellow. He's no longer with us, but I became the second donor and helped the organization grow and gave him advice whenever he asked for it. So I was a member of Turning Point's the team for probably 10 years, maybe 12 years. And I supported various projects within Turning Point. I also helped Turning Point Action, which is a 501c4, gave them some significant funds to help them, to help President Trump get elected. But about, maybe it was, I don't know.
Well, let me ask you, since you're talking about support, you gave support in the millions of
dollars.
About
Millions.
5 million, would you say?
It's between 3 and 5. I
Okay.
honestly, I'd have
over
to check.
over a period.
Over a 10-year, 12-year period.
Yeah.
And but I became very concerned. This was about 2 months before his untimely death. I became very concerned with his giving a lot of credence to people like Tucker Carlson. And when there were big organizational meetings like Turning Point Action, Turning Point America or AmeriFest, right up on the big brochures next to Charlie was Tucker Carlson. And of course, I've been following Tucker Carlson. I used to like watching him when he was on Fox News. I liked his attitude. He's a little sarcastic. But then for some reason, something changed, and he became, in my view, a Jew hater. I don't use the term anti-Semitic. And Tucker has his own show and where he platformed known Jew haters. So I talked to Charlie about this, and I was very concerned that he was being influenced and giving a platform. Tucker Carlson, I think, gave a keynote address at one of the major Turning Point events, and I didn't get a good answer, and I told Charlie that I can't finance you anymore. I feel very good about my past helping Turning Point and helping you. You've used the money appropriately. You really helped President Trump get elected, the ground game that he did in those borderline states. But going forward, and I don't see, I don't like the trend of the organization.
So you can see that once Tucker Carlson was platformed, all of a sudden people don't like to support Charlie. And what's crazy to me is that Tucker Carlson, Charlie Kirk, and Candace Owens are the most America First platform speakers that have a large platform. They're the most America First. It's always America First. That's their best interest. That's in their best interest. And then every other conversation comes. But they have always been America First. And what's funny is that all three of them also supported Israel for a very long time. They was on the Zionist movement and all that stuff. But if it ever came down to a conversation about who's first, it's always been America First. And that's where they started to disagree and not align with Charlie anymore, when they started realizing, brother, that's not how this works. I'm giving you all of this money because we come first, not America. We come first. And some of the things that, I kind of pointed out with Charlie before is that I feel like he was naive to money and not realizing that no money is free. They're giving you $5 million for a reason. You think they're about to spend $5 million for you to just push your own message, for you to platform whoever you want? It don't work like that. And I've watched Tucker Carlson for a long time as well. He has never, ever, and he's made it clear that he doesn't hate anyone. He doesn't hate Jews. He doesn't hate anybody. He has said that often. He has clarified that often. But for some reason, they continue to say, Tucker Carlson's a known Jew hater. He's a known Jew hater. He platforms Jew. And Tucker Carlson has literally said so many times, I don't hate anybody. I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is I don't think they should have the influence that they have on our leaders. I don't think Israel coming first is America first. And they don't like that. And for this donor to say, I feel like he was rubbing off on Charlie. Charlie's a grown man. Charlie and Tucker Carlson are both geniuses. I think Charlie could speak for himself. And he's like, I think Tucker Carlson was rubbing off on Charlie and all that. That's a crazy red flag. Crazy red flag. So basically, Charlie started to understand where Tucker Carlson was coming from. And now all of a sudden, Charlie is a Jew hater as well, or at least influenced by a Jew hater. So he pulled his funds from Charlie. Now, how many others do you think have done that? We already know Charlie has text messages out saying, I am tired of being bullied by the Jewish donors. They fit the stereotype. He started saying that, so he wasn't the first. My second question is, did he go back to donating to Turning Point once Charlie left this earth? That would be an interesting question and response and answer that I would love to know. Is the FBI asking that? Hey, you pulled your money from Charlie because you didn't like Tucker Carlson being platformed. Well, Tucker Carlson hasn't been platformed since AmFest in December. I wonder why. Even though Charlie has text messages as well saying, I want Tucker Carlson to speak here and there, whatever. But now that Tucker Carlson isn't speaking anymore and Miss Shalami is head of Turning Point, are you back donating? Because now you can see the propaganda that they wanted Charlie to push. You can see there is motive. Even if it wasn't him that was involved in it, you can just see that there is a motive. There's a potential or a possible motive that somebody out there could have wanted him gone. This man just could have been upset enough to just pull his money. Somebody out there could have said, nah, it's going to be more than that. But it's just interesting because Charlie said at his leading up to his death day that he wanted to bring Candace back, that he never would push Tucker to the side. He always wants to platform Tucker because Tucker's great to him. And he's a great free thinker, independent thinker, not controlled. But that was the issue with Charlie, though. Charlie didn't even realize it, but Charlie was controlled. He thought that he was Tucker Carlson, or he thought he was a Candace Owens. But Charlie was being controlled. He didn't even realize it. And I think when he started to realize it, it was too late. When he started to realize, like, oh, snap, I can't just say I'm done taking money from y'all. I can't just platform whoever I want to platform. They said, nah, it don't work like that. So I found it interesting that this guy that trusted Charlie so much all of a sudden lost his trust once Charlie started platforming Tucker Carlson, or once Charlie wouldn't denounce Tucker Carlson, because that's what they want. They wanted Charlie to go up there and say, I don't appreciate what Tucker Carlson said about the people of Israel and blah, blah, blah. Because another donor that sent Charlie a threatening text message is basically saying, God is going to take his hand off your life and something going to happen to you. That donor, she said in her messages that she wanted Charlie to come forward and denounce Tucker Carlson. So all of this is around the same conversation, but I just want to remind y'all that Tucker Carlson has never expressed any hate at all towards those people. At all. He just said they should not have this much influence on America. Prioritizing them is not prioritizing America. So if you are a Zionist, it's no way that you're America first. This organization, Turning Point USA, is supposed to be America first. AmFest is called America First. But everything that you guys are doing is trying to get us to put Israel first. That's all Tucker Carlson was saying. He said they're not in our best interest because what they're doing does not put America first. It puts them first. And for some reason, they said that that's being a Jew hater. So I don't know. It was interesting looking at that video and listening to that donor say all of that. Just because I wonder if he is back to donating, and I want to know if the FBI if they've taken any text message that Charlie has received serious. If Erika has even showed the FBI the messages from these donors, all because Charlie started to question things. He didn't even start questioning things publicly yet. He started questioning things privately. But I don't know. Let me know what y'all think about everything. I know that was a lot. Kind of was all over the place, so I do apologize. But I do appreciate y'all for supporting as usual. Make sure you guys hit the like button if you're new. Again, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all the support as usual. And I will see y'all on the next one.